all the way. Good evening and welcome to Marara, Darwin for the final round of the NTRU season. With one round to go, Casuarina cannot be knocked off the top, but South Darwin are playing for second place. They were leading in second place this week until Uni overcame Palmerston today, 14-10. So with everything to play for, this is a game that should be not missed. The conditions are pretty good right now. We're looking at 24 degrees, but it has been wet. And with me, a man who's been able to feel it in his fingers and in his toes, the man who is never shy around a cougar, generally at monsoons on a Saturday night, and a big supporter of the rugby team as well. Paul Healy's with me, and he's the man who'll be doing the expert comments tonight. Evening, Paul.
Hey, Billy. Thanks for having me again. And, yeah, we can't win with the weather here, can we? It's either 37 degrees and 96% humidity, or it's just bucketing down with rain. But it seems like it's eased off a bit now, and the field's in pretty good nick. There's been 2 or 3 games played beforehand, so let's hope the rain holds off and we get a reasonably quality game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good at this point. We've had, for everybody out there, we've probably had nearly 200 mils over the last 3 days, or since Wednesday at least, which is a lot of rain. The field is very, very wet. You can't really tell from the screen there, but it has held up really well today from all the games we've had. So I am expecting that to be a pretty open game. If there's 2 teams that are going to show us something that's going to be quick, then it's going to be these 2. How do you see the game going to go tonight, Paul?
Well, as we were speaking before we come on air, Billy, I think Dragons are building up to something good. They're starting to get a few players together and winning a few games, and obviously Cougars have got a few out leading into the finals and with some injuries and stuff. So look, I think the team that obviously we speak about it every week, that makes the least errors and plays field position, especially with this weather, will definitely come out trumps at the end of the game. So, but I was just talking to the coaches before we kick off. I was just talking to the coaches during the week, and Luigi Andrioli from Cougars was saying that he wants to keep it simple. This is just wants to keep the process simple throughout the game. Obviously, he's got several players out, and he's looking for those players coming in to maintain the standards they've set throughout the season to make them minor premiers, which is a good focus point. The key objectives he's looking for is obviously, like everybody else, you want to win, Bill. But he wants to continue implementing game plans and fine-tuning the structures leading into their finals campaign. So we've got a minute's silence here.
Yeah, we'll just honour that for a moment.
Yeah, and just finishing off quickly before kick-off, Jack Forrest from the Bunnies, he's also got some guys sidelined and then going to look at the opportunity to give some combinations a run before the semi-finals, and obviously his objective is they want a strong start, stay in the match, and they want a full 80 minutes tonight. And it's going to be difficult, but it's just against better teams like Casuarina, then you've got to keep that 80-minute performance up. He wants to be disciplined, and he wants to maintain their attacking structures and looking at a solid performance in defence, Billy.
Casuarina take the kick there on your left, South on your right, all the way back to looks like it might have been Mulholland at the back there, and South just gaining some ascendancy. Just is still inside their half. I think with the wet weather, both teams are going to be doing a fair bit of kicking tonight, trying to avoid mistakes in their own half. Couple of players for South to look out for tonight. Alex Zuber, just a 18-year-old, come up from Armidale. He had a great game last time we played, but we just probably didn't mention him at all. For 18-year-old, we're looking also at James Phelps, the number 11, another 18-year-old. And that's a poor line out by Casuarina, cleaned up by South, but Casuarina's forward solid in defence is trying to gain that back. South going nowhere from the back of the ruck though, and Kaz realigning fast. This is what they've done all year. This is why they're at the top. Bit of a mix-up there by Alex into Hamish Riley, but South again securing the ball. And Vinny Min, the captain, Hayden Summers, but still nowhere to go. Casuarina ready to play, and they've lined everything up nicely here. Going the blind now, and there's out to Mulholland. Mulholland out to the wing there. And South, good leg drive by South, taken down. Taken down nicely by Cougars. Matt Tavers down there. Arm has gone out towards Cougars, but they've playing the advantage now. Would have been for the knock on at South. Yeah, look, nice little bit of fast play there, but some cohesion is going to be what wins the game tonight. But both teams starting nicely, not afraid to sort of get stuck in early. Jared Luton, nice little quick one down the blind, but Casuarina look like they're ready for anything that's coming at them. Yeah,
they seem to be a lot of enthusiasm very early in the game in defence for Casuarina, Bill, and some good phases of play there by South. They've obviously shown their intention of, once they get into the opposition half, they want to play a bit of footy and test the edges with the Cougars. Obviously they've identified where they can attack, so that's a good phase of play first up, especially in the conditions. But as we said before the game started, the field looks in pretty good nick, actually.
So in the centres, you've got Jared Luton for South, Ethan Morgan, but they've got a big challenge on their hands. They've got Samuel Kanatonga, the super centre, on the inside there. He's a massive unit. Then they've got the outside centre of Wasali Sekatoga. There are a couple of big boys running at you there. What you want in these damp conditions, aren't they?
Yeah, he's probably one of the form centres of the competition, Sam from Cougars.
Arms gone out from a solid scrum by Cougars. Dominance in the scrum was important there, and they took it.
Look, I think in tonight with the conditions, you got to have a solid set piece, Billy, and you got to make sure that you hold your feet and hold the weight. And the referee will make those decisions, and obviously be a little bit flexible with the ground, the way it's shifting around underneath. But it's interesting, you see that Vinny Min's playing 9 tonight. He's been one of the most consistent players that I've seen in every game that I've watched this year, and now he's at 9, and he normally plays 12, and he plays anywhere. So he's definitely would be a contender for me for the Eric Johnson medal if when that comes up. So.
Yeah, he's had a great year in a side that probably hasn't been very cohesive, but he stood up nicely, and Cougars, nice little platform there now, and they've just hit it up early, not quite past the advantage line, but enough to get the forwards in tow to another hit up on the blind there as they come on the left. That's the big number 3. Jake Rutherford there, he's set up platform nicely as well. Kicking behind the back, not an ideal position to be kicking, I wouldn't have thought, in your own half. But South haven't called the mark, and they're going to back themselves here. Not probably the smartest move, I wouldn't have thought. But they got fortunate, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not too sure that the winger for South then makes some good ground back and could have taken a mark and slowed it all down and relieved some pressure. But South got lucky, and Cougars made a basic error, and then so South have got the scrum just outside their defensive 22.
I'm not sure that Cougars really needed to give that away. I mean, you're only 30 metres out, and you just want to, in these conditions, you just want to be going up the guts.
Yeah, I think they need to maintain a little bit more possession, but I think that they obviously identified the space was in behind. But as I said, the South winger did a really good job to get back and defend that ball, but should have just taken the mark and slowed the game down.
Nice luxury to have too, I'd say, with the way Cougars have got there. 8 out, they reckon, and missing Sekatara at the halfback there, and they bring in the old head, who's not a handy halfback himself. He'd be nearly 45, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you just, if you can hold your own in this competition, and you've got 8 injuries, it's going to test your depth anywhere you go, Billy. So fair play to Cougars. They've got still a reasonably strong side on the park.
Right, Vinny Min about to feed the scrum for South. See how they hold it up on their own, and good work. Nice solid scrum, but an ordinary pass out to Mulholland. Mulholland to Luton, and Luton's on the run now with people behind him. He's got Solo Asali there, number 15 for South, and putting pressure on, and Luton's chased his own kick, but the fullback for Cougars, nice little bounce off to help his forwards get time to get to him. Now the forwards are lining up again for the hit up, and there we go. That looks like Big Sammy there, just sort of taking him on. Giving him plenty of room, but nice little counter ruck by South. That's Big Billy there. Oh, terrible decision. A bit slow there, Kanye, but he put his foot to ball, so it wasn't a knock on. But now there's some pressure on South. See how Cougars get right up on them. South need to do something with this and just take the pressure off. Vinny Min with a cool head over the box kick. But it sits up nicely, and no one's really following through for South, so there's plenty of time for Casuarina. Going out to the middle of the fullback, Anthony Hill, and Hill spreads it out too, but again, South still not a line in defence there, a bit slow. Nice little fight in the ruck has come out the back. And South again piling forward, just making sure they can get the ball back for the forwards. And the arm's gone round the shoulder there. No, and a bit of a mix-up. Vinny Min looking for Summers, and Summers just wasn't in position. He was sort of going back to get behind, wasn't he, and didn't expect it.
Yeah, I think South did really well in that edge there. They identified that the Cougars were getting back slowly from that kick, and they did hustle down that short side and counter-rucked and got the ball back, but unfortunately, Vinny Min threw it to the ghost on the sideline. It went over touch, and now they've given Cougars a let-off with the line out on the halfway.
Right, Cougars with a line out. Nice strong line out at the back too. And then hit up in the centres there, but they're holding on tightly. That's Villy there, who's come back from a concussion from a couple of weeks ago. Held on to him, but still they've gone to the advantage line. And now playing for percentage football here. And Solo Ali takes a nice kick in catching the 22 and puts it back. Now they all need to be on here, South. There's got to be some talk. Kaz content to just keep pushing it back. Luton now with Min on the inside of him, but he's going to take it himself. Now Riley's got to back him up and get over the top. South's too slow. Not enough people there, not enough talk.
You call that early, Billy. It's they were a little bit slow there, but you can see Cougars are just playing that simple game, and they're getting good ball off the top of the line out and hitting the big number 8 Satani through the middle, and then they've got some options either left or right, and then they put it in the corner with the left foot kick. So they won that little battle there, and now they got another line out on the 22.
Yeah, look, they're playing the percentage football, aren't they? They know they're getting it back in the 22, and South could be doing more with it. They're just rushing it. There's twice they've been kicked in 22. They probably needed to call the mark, because the way they're playing at the moment, they're not getting enough support to be rushing the ball around. Fokatuva to the back there now. It's gone to Tavers. Tavers clean as usual. Now Casuarina piling in for the maul, looking to drive it forward. They've been held up once, but they've gone again. This is a good drive. This is a good maul. It's going to be hard to stop from here if they keep going. It's come off the side there, and the substitute. Oh, I think he's knocked it on. He was in for all money, and the substitute number 2. Sorry, it's not the substitute number 2. I'm thinking Jack Rutherford's come in for Po Ching tonight. Sorry, but Fotakuva has been here all year, and he had it. He just got to the line, got tackled, and it just spat out. Unlucky, wasn't it?
Yeah, disappointing there, because they set that maul up really well, and they had South struggling and just lost the ball before he got over the line.
The distinct... I've had a chat to South about what's been going on this year and why they haven't really fired. And I mean, looking at that team, there's no reason they shouldn't actually be really putting a lot of pressure on these guys. But training's been an issue for them, and I think you can tell at the start of this game too. There's a lack of talk and cohesion, lack of organisation. Now Min gone down the blind, he's gone the run, just trying to get some percentage football. But he's got it out nicely, but Cougar's almost about to go the quick one there. Might have been Scott Murray there who was about to go the quick, but South making probably about 20 metres. Need to do more with it. A great position for Cougars now to go in for the kill. And Bubba just a bit slow at the back there, but now he's lined up. Gone to Tavis again. Good. Going up early was Burge, who did a good spoil on Tavis, and Min straight back into the forwards. He had nowhere to go from the good pressure from Cougars. And the knock on from Tavis and line out's been called. Great pressure by Berg there. It's going to be an interesting contest between the number 6 at South and Tavis, because Tavis doesn't mind a bit of instigating in there, and I'm not sure Burge is going to take a step back either. He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind sort of stepping in there and taking a bit of heat off the other opposition. You can see him have a bit of a chat there after the line. I like that. We're going to see a lot of scrums tonight, so for anybody who's a front row purist, it's going to be your night. South have been holding their own against a really good Kaz scrum, and they're sort of holding again now, a lot of pressure. Minigo on the blind again, but he's been caught. He's got to get some support in there now, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. And Cougars have got the ball back. Good play by the halfback, and now the big number 8, he's just gone straight into Summers and knocked it on. Loose carry. These carries are so important and can't afford the loose ones.
Yeah, and their body height's a bit high, Billy, so they just need to drop their body height a fraction, which then the tackler has to go lower, and they're focusing. Souths are doing a good job focusing on getting just under the ball and making those hits, and obviously with the wet night, you've just got to make sure that you secure your own possession.
Talafel Satani, he's been a good runner over the season.
Yeah, he's been good for Kaz. He's just given them that go forward, and he's a big man too.
Well, that's another big contest for the number 8s with South out the back, and this is the man I was about to mention. He's been real handy for him, but he's gone out to Vinnie Min, out to Luton. Now Luton's on the boot early as well. He's found a bit of space behind Kaz here, and now it's gone over to the 15. It's around about 20, and a bit of a follow-up there from South, who have put a lot of pressure on. That's great following through. Now there's plenty of them there, but Cougars are fighting hard for the ball. It's been bounced everywhere, but then, was that Mulholland I can see at the back there? Nice little pop. And Cougars defending well, getting back scrapping. This is where South's got to keep this up. They can't take the intensity off. Oh, and here comes Big Sam, the super centre. He's gone wide and straight into the forwards, but that's well taken in the tackle, but they've got a good advantage. And Summers has been penalised there for not wrapping his arms.
Don't think he needed to go down that road with a high tackle, because Sammy, I think, lost possession on the floor. If they didn't get the penalty, it would have been a knock-on to South. But great chase from South, Billy. Just a bit hesitant, not much communication at the back there from Cougars at the moment.
Terrible kick by Kaz, didn't go out, but here comes the flyer, Jiminy. He's put a lot of pressure on, now he's on top, and he's got to get in. Yeah, then 15 for Cougars was in front. He wasn't quite there, but Jiminy off his feet now, and he's going to be penalised. It was just... That's why the wingers have got to stay out of the forwards, eh?
Yeah, but you've got to be on your feet to play the ball. You can't play the ball on the ground. So, unfortunately, a good chase and a good tackle and good pressure ended up a penalty for Casarina. So they slowed the game down now, and they've got to make sure they find their touch, Billy, because they've got a pretty good line out.
Well, it was good enthusiasm by Jimmy. He did everything right. He just did what wingers tend to do and upset the forwards, and as usual, the forwards put in all the hard work. The wingers and the backs sort of bring it all back to earth again for them. G'day to everybody who's out there too, from around the world and around Australia. A couple of mates of mine, Timmy and Bergs in Brisbane, tuning in. Good to see the fans out there from Brisbane being involved, and hope you're doing well up there, guys. I'll be giving you a shout out later, Timmy. Keep him in line there, Bergs. Good throw, well cleaned up at the back. It looked like it could have gone anywhere, and there comes Sammy again, but he's been hit well.
They're definitely aiming up on Sammy tonight. I think there's a little bit of see who can win the battle out there tonight, Billy. And he's not going to shirk it. And South's defence has been pretty good.
Well, I know how much they know they can't give him any room, because every time he's had room this year, he's destroyed teams.
Yeah.
Nice little run down the blind, good leg drive, right near about a metre in. So they've got to be careful, and the ball's gone out. That's where they've got to be careful. With the wet weather, it's going to be slippery.
Yeah, but also, too, they've got to make sure that they work hard to get back on side. I mean, a lot of ball watching and trying to bounce and reset and get back into position to try and make those tackles. It's going to be difficult as the game goes on, because the legs are going to get heavier, aren't they?
Yeah, and, another player I saw do really well the other week was number 8 for South, Pedro Kinney. He had a really good game the last time we were here, and the last 5 minutes he's been in everything, and he needs to aim up tonight on the number 8 for Cougars and Big Sammy. Out to Luton now. Luton on the boot again. The kicking's got to be more effective tonight. This is not going to work if this is the way they're going to be doing it. But here comes Big Pedro again. He's more likely to run it and give him some room. He's going to be hard to take down, but that's been done well. Well taken by Cougars. And here comes Villy again. He's had a bit of a breather. He should be nice and fresh, but the super subs come flying in, taking him down too, giving him nowhere. Mulholland. Now, they've got space out here, South, if they can get it. They've just got to get the ball in hand. Now, here comes the speed. Here comes the Fijians. Oh, and it's been gone forward. Gee, Jiminy's not someone you want to get out on the side. And when you've got the Fijian flyer, Solowali, with him, we saw a couple of weeks ago what happens when they start throwing the ball around. But unfortunately for South, they didn't move it quick enough and the pressure got to them. This has been a strong scrum, but South have got to sort of shape their attack a bit more, and I'd like to see Cougars too, if they could, just to maybe run it back into the forwards. That's where their strength's going to be tonight. Kicking in the midfield, it's been really ineffective. Don't forget, South win tonight, they go into second, they lose, they go into third. So this is vital for them. This is a chance to get a second stab, and South's been penalised, not in straight, not packing straight, and their quick tap's been made, and here comes the big man. The big number 8 for Cougars, and he ran a really good run, taken from the side, and the ball's been knocked out again. Second big run, second knock on. Satani has been doing great runs all year, but 2 knock-ons are not going to be effective. He's got to lower that down. South's a bit forming this line out late, so they've got to try and catch Cougars on numbers, but Cougars are right onto it. Straight into Alex, and Alex out to Min to Mulholland. Mulholland to Luton. Luton again on the boot, and they've just straight down the throat of the fullback. Oh, he's knocked it back though. I called it too early. Great pressure by South, but he's got it away nicely. And Min, as usual, right in the possession. He's coming out now. Coming out to the left. He's got himself under pressure. They need to talk. They need to communicate. Here comes the flyer now. Jiminy, he's going to take him on, and he's gone through a nice little gap there with Hamish Riley in support, but he's got no one with him. The self-proclaimed honey badger. Not sure where he got that from, because not much of him, but Mulholland with what I think we call rugby flat, would that be? Or there you go, no. Rugby flat, I would say. But the knock-on's been made anyway from a good tackle.
Yeah, but once again, Billy, you work hard to get that possession. You get a penalty down on your 22 and you kick it out, and then you have a couple of rucks and there's a forward pass and your momentum goes straight out the window, So that's to be expected and with these conditions and that. But just as I mentioned before, I think just with the way the conditions are, I think when you're carrying the ball, you've got to drop your body height a little bit better and protect the ball.
Yeah, look, I don't think neither team's really adjusted to the conditions. I mean, you'd expect tonight to be running closer to the rucks, running more in the forwards, but they're both spreading it. They're both taking it wide, and while it may pay off eventually, it's just too high risk. And if you've got no support, you're going to be cleaned up all the time.
Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious what Dragons want to, Bunnies want to do is that they're getting it wide to Luton, and he's kicking it long, and they're trying to pin Cougars down in their own half. So. Maybe that'll change later on, but they're just trying to stick to a game plan, and Cougars need to make sure that they're have a lot of communication at the back there and give Anthony Hill some options on a counter-attack.
Well, we're 20 minutes in, and if you're going to throw a few jabs in the first bit to test a team out, that should have been done by now, and they should be starting to look at options of where they're going to start make gains. But at the moment, they're just following, I guess, what they've been doing the last 10 minutes, which hasn't been effective.
No, they're trying to feel each other out, but obviously there's been just too many errors, and a bit stop-start at the moment, scrum line out, penalty.
South's got a great mobile forward attack. Oh, and they've been pinned again in the scrum, but another quick tap by Cougars.
You've got to take it on the mark or behind the last man's feet, so you can't just tap and run. Yeah, they got South's prop for shearing in, so obviously they're either losing their feet or they're getting a bit tired. So,
well, Eric Erickson's come on, looks like, in the front row there, and didn't recognise him because I reckon he probably still got a bit of winter weight there, I'd say.
Yeah, well, Eric's come back from Brisbane. I had things to do with Eric, got him down to North Rugby Club in Brisbane, and he played some pretty decent footy, and he was working on the Gold Coast and travelling up, and he was very fit then. But he's the big fella looks like he's back, and he's been in a pretty good paddock since I saw him last time. But one thing he can do is definitely he's a good scrummager for this competition up here, Billy.
Yeah, there you go, Timmy Berg's up your way in North in Brisbane. And as they go into the scrum now, and Berg got a terrible throw out there. Well, sorry, it's a good throw, but a terrible lift. Made a mess of that. And then Cougars regain it. Exactly what they didn't want. And here comes the super centre, Sammy, now, and he's just done a nice little gain.
He's only going to go one way, Sammy.
Yep. And I think that's his step, isn't it?
Yeah, the Tongan side step, mate.
And again, we're looking at, there comes no room for the big boys, and South have been good at that, but they're Vinny Min all over it. Good work. But they're still strong, Kaz. They've got some size and they've got some fight, so South have got to be up quick. There's plenty of room out wide if Kaz can spread it.
They're just hanging on here, South. There you go. There's another penalty. So they're starting to build up. I don't know what you do here, Billy. You might take the points and get a bit of stability, or they got a good line out, so they're obviously going to test the line out again. And they did a great drive maul from a line out before when they dropped the ball just before the line. So I'm guessing something like that, or they hit the big number 8 through the middle and try and get some go forward that way. Yeah,
look, I think they're keen to back themselves here and go, and why not, I guess. But in these conditions, generally you'd be taking the points, just getting advantage, everything up here. I mean, it's 20 minutes they've been up here. South haven't really been in their own 40 really.
No.
And they've got nothing to show for it, so they should be taking points away. Anyway, they might make a fool of me here, and it's a nice grab at the back there. It was almost lost, but great grab. Trying to keep the ball now, Casuarina. It's not going anywhere though. But here we go now. They're going for a good drive. And South in that maul had taken control and they've knocked it on. So good fighting there by the green. But then Cougars were good enough to mess it up on them. Yeah, there's a lot of spoiling by both teams at the moment, but this is a good time for Big Sammy to make to attack. You can see him, Eric. Oh, there we go, and they've cut out the super centre, and now they've gone wide. This PJ, the 5'8", he's been playing well tonight too. He's come up from reserve grade, but Solowali's been onto it quick, and they've brought it back. South have been penalised again. They've gone wide, and they had to because because South had grabbed that, so the arm had been up. They've tested themselves and didn't work, so they've been able to bring it back.
Yeah, Cougars, I think, have made a backline change there, Billy, and here goes the big Satan. He's going to go straight at him. Quick tap.
Oh, it's popped out again now. This is going to happen all night, so this is why I was suggesting the points have got to be taken. Yes. Again, it's another knock on. South have spoiled that, got the knock. South have been spoiling those, but it's fine to spoil them, but if you've still got to be able to not rush it. I think they're trying to do too much in too quickly. Referee's having a bit of a chat here now.
I think Cougars have made a change in their back line. I think PJ's, who was playing 10, has been pushed out to either the wing or outside centre, and they've brought on number 17, but we don't have a name beside his number.
Now the touchy and the referee is still having a bit of a chat here. I'm not sure what happened. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Well, but they are looking at a South guy who's down on his knees with the trainer, so I'm not too sure what's happened there.
Yeah, it's Hayden Summers. That's the captain there. It takes a fair bit to knock him down. So while everybody has a bit of a breather, it's a good time for. Yeah, it looks like he's just gone into a tackle wrong. I mean, whenever big... there didn't look like there was much in it for me, but we'll see what comes out of it.
I think it might be something to do with a bit of a head knock or something.
I noticed before he was running pretty high with his knees, but generally that's his style, so I don't think it's that.
Yeah. Well, Cougars are playing up the wrong end of the field for their supporters over here. It's at Ladies' Day over there in the Palmerston Rugby Union stand at the chock-a-block there, so I'm sure all the ladies are having a few champagnes and probably not watching the rugby, but just chatting away and having a great time and catching up with friends. And
I'd say by this time of night, mate, they've forgotten a game of rugby's on from what I saw before. That is a big crowd for the sort of weather we've been having in it.
It's a great crowd, and well done to Cougars for generating a lot of interest for that and their committee and stuff like that, and obviously their president and done a great job. And as you said, Billy, with the weather, to get a crowd like that and in a function out here on a Saturday night is fair play to the Cougars committee. And fair play to the ladies who support them and come out, and so hopefully Casarina might be down that end in the second half and they can see a bit of footy.
So it looks like it might have been just a warning. I thought he was going to bring out the card there for a moment. He's oh no, he's just adjusting his mic. So a whole lot of nothing, I'd say, mate.
Yeah, I think Robbie and Julius had a good chat about something, and obviously, they've decided that we will play on and there was nothing in it, so fair play to them.
And as we should, and so now you can sort of see the lineup now for Kaz. You've got the big boppers at 10, 12, and we're playing it outside centre. The big 14s come in there now. Geez, I'd hate to be lining up against it. And another spill there by the number 8. Gee. Someone's got to have a chat to him because Satani, he's got a lot of enthusiasm. He's doing what he needs to do, but he just keeps spilling that ball.
I think he's thinking about what he's going to do before he's actually got the ball, and now there's been some, I think was it back chat or something, so South's got another penalty. Get him out of trouble, Billy.
Well, it's what they needed, mate, because they've been a bit unorganised.
Yeah, I mean, as we said before the game, the team that makes less mistakes and gives away least penalties and are good in defence will probably win this game. And, South are just hanging in, and the Cougars are making these mistakes.
Yeah, you look at the table and you look, in the middle of the table is South and Union. Here come Cougars now. They've got the ball back. That's good work by Cougars. South have made them absolute balls up of that. And now it's sitting back now, and they're ready to strike. You can see everybody wants a crack at this one, and again, boom. They've got people everywhere, but that's a good hit and a good defence by South. They've just got to stay wide now and make sure that no one else gets any room, because Big Sammy's lining up for one as well. And another great hit in defence.
Reece Mulholland.
Reece Mulholland, the little fella. Geez, he's got some enthusiasm, that Jackrabbit. Big Eric Erickson now. He's been taken nice and low by Hamish Riley, because he would have killed Hamish had Hamish go high. But a terrible pass. Wow. It's not rocket surgery to actually play the game slow and to actually play the conditions, is it?
No.
Gee, Cougars, they looked like they were going to line up for something there, and it just, again, rushing it. Standing too wide, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but you have to play the conditions, Billy. Stand a bit closer. Don't expect the pass to go where it was, because it's quite a wet night, but it still wasn't a great pass, but
Well, he cut out two people to get to him. Yeah. You don't be doing two-man cutouts in this sort of conditions. So an opportunity for South now. Let's see what they can do, and can they do something different, because there's plenty of room on the blind for them. Plenty of room, and they get the scrum penalty, exactly what they needed.
The ref's got him for
and Vinny Min's gone the quick tap. This is opportunistic, because he could have just gone and got himself some good position, but South are there to help clean up. There's hands all in there, but
it's no halfback.
South, lack of organisation again, but Luton, is it? No, it's not. It is Luton. Luton's just been able to hit it up, and the forwards lined up again. And Pedro, big Pedro now going for the run. Tavers gone high, and I couldn't see who went low, but that's good by Cougars. And here's young Alex, the 18-year-old. Good little run. He had plenty of pressure on him, but he's been able to maintain the ball. Now South with room out wide. Oh, and Mulholland with hands. And here we go, South nice and open. And Sulawali, he's got to hear the call. Here comes Jiminy, another flyer. He's knocked it, and has he knocked it back? No, it's been called knock forward, and it's fair enough too, but gee, South, they look dangerous. And Sulawali, the man who created all that havoc, he's got it out, nice out wide, and here we go again, far wide to Vili Baba. Baba, the big man, he loves a big game. Again at the Pedro, it's the Fijians, they're all over this tonight, and unfortunately they've gone too wide and found the line. There was no need to be hugging the line so much.
Yeah, there's a penalty to South for the Cougars guy not releasing, but they're definitely very willing, Billy. But, South went down this sideline here, and once again there was a knock on, and it was a good advantage played by the referee, Julius, and allowed the game to flow. And obviously now South have got an attacking line out on Cougars 22. They haven't been down that end of the field for a fair while, Billy. So they just need to slow it down and make sure that they execute their game plan and hold on to the footy and get in behind the Cougars and put them under pressure.
Looks like they need to go and rub a gum tree, mate. Get a bit of sap on their hands, because nothing's sticking at the moment. And there goes Min from the back of the line out now to Mulholland. Mulholland to Luton. Luton looking on the inside to big Vili Baba again, and Baba's been taken nicely. He had nowhere to go from the good defence. And Summers now is back to Vinny Min. Terrible bit of play by South. It's just going nowhere. They've just got to get a bit of forward action together. You go Baba to Riley, the little man, and he just no need to look for the pass. Gee, the way this game's going, mate, I reckon we just record what we've been saying, just put it on repeat, eh? Hit up, knock on. Don't push it. But here we go now, out wide, and they're looking dangerous here too. Some big, strong runners out there, plenty of support, and this is what Cougars needed. They just needed someone to pop their hands to. Good work all round. The hooker was there, Fulakava out of he's been tackled, and now the fullback's got it, and South have got to get back there. Plenty of men in the middle for Cougars, and no one for South. Oh, I tell you what.
Play the whistle.
There's going to be some boys that are going to the apprenticeship at Casuarina for the Butchers, I'd say, because they destroyed that. If you want to carve up an advantage, there we go.
Here's the space on the wing here.
Oh, and here's another bit of opportunity to the speedsters, and who's going to go at it first? But Jiminy stepped back. It allowed the Casuarina man to get it. Here comes Sammy now with some space. And they've gone forward. I tell you, a fraction. He just had to pop it a little earlier, and they were away.
Well, they're all over the shop here. They're all getting still up off the ground, and Cougars were worrying about an injured player at the back, but the injured player's in the trainer's hands, so you need to concentrate on the rugby until the game stops. But there's some tired blokes out there already, Billy. Well, there's so many errors and so many turnovers, and there's just really no structure at the moment, and they're not doing themselves any justice, both teams. You've just got to make sure you get that strong, solid ball going forward, get in behind them, and then go wide when you can.
Look, and a lot of scrums will tie out. Look, I don't mind the way they've played. I mean, they've gone wide. They've done a few exciting plays, and some of them have almost come off. And for the entertainment value, that's been great. But then we're suffering through a lot of scrums in the process. I think while that entertainment value has been great, just being able to keep the forwards being able to hold on to that ball. Yep. I don't know if someone said, look, just if you get it past it, I'm not sure what's been going on in the change rooms, but no one's willing to sort of take the ball down and keep pushing
but
forward.
Both teams are guilty of getting good turnover ball and then actually slowing that ball down instead of recycling that ball quickly and expose the spaces where they're still getting back on side. The old adage is you don't turn fast ball into slow ball. You just let it go and try and look for space.
So we've got Lachlan's come on the side of the scrum now. He's number 19. He's come on to give the other flankers a bit of a breather. But Vinny Min now, this is where South have been all night. Nothing's changed in their approach. Nothing's changed in their play to get out of there. So will they run it, or are they going to just keep kicking to the same spot and end up in the same position, because they need to actually start testing this back line?
Yeah, Cougars have got to starting to get a dominant scrum here, obviously, with Big Eric and a few replacements that they've made. But what they've got to do, Billy, is they're getting a dominant scrum. They make sure they've got to keep driving straight, not come up, which means then the ref will penalise them. If you've got a dominant scrum, you don't want to be penalised.
Yeah, well, if they're ever going the old rule of just not moving your feet in the scrum is tonight's the night, because the person who gives they're going to go backwards pretty quick.
And if I was South, I'd just be getting the ball in and out straight away.
Yep.
And getting it to the space.
Wouldn't surprise another blind run here. They've got plenty of room out here if they go.
That's a better scrum.
Good scrum by both teams there. Now they've gone wide, and Luton again, and again he's gone the boot. He's gone for himself here, so it might come off. Oh, it was hit his hands. Look, it was enterprising play. It nearly came off, and Cougars were troubled on the far side of the field if he got it, but now they've got it back, and this is a big, strong run here. South have just got to lift their heads here now, because the Cougars forwards are all stuck on the commentary side of the field, and they're not keen to get over there at all. So this is where South's really mobile pack and take advantage. But someone's got to recognise it and not let them get across again. Enthusiasm in the forwards can be everything here, but look at them all lined up. There's some big boppers everywhere, and South are struggling, and that ball's gone forward. There's just got to be someone in that South pack to notice that, because they had all their hands on their hips out here on the forwards for Casuarina, and there was no need for it, because they've got the power and the strength.
Yeah, they just need to slow the game down and play to their strengths, which is holding on to the ball, getting some good, getting through the defence, and then recycling the ball quickly to the guys, to Sammy and those guys out wide who punching holes straight. But a good option there by Luton. He saw the space in behind. Obviously, Cougars were looking for a longer kick and didn't have anyone sweeping in behind. But obviously, once again, the execution, Billy, let him down, because, he gets that ball, they're off to the races.
Yeah, look, Cougars have been a more structured team all year, and if they maintain that, this game's theirs. But I think there's going to be an upset if they keep going on this way, because South are just being a little bit enterprising in the middle there. Here we go now, Big Villy Baba. He's taking it from the back, and he's really hard to stop. He's held onto the ball nicely, but there's got to be some support, because Cougars are all over that. Looks like they've done a really good job, but South have got the ball back, have they? No, Cougars have got the ball back and done a really good job of that. But they've got to get back in support. They're all walking. South are nice and lined up, so going to the far side of the field, grandstand side. And the defence had him, but they've let him go. Now Cougars have gone past the advantage line. They just needed to hold on. South were nicely lined up. And we're looking at the forwards again, littering the back line out here. They'll be screaming with less than a minute to go. They're screaming for this, the forwards. They want half time to come, but South have just got to hold on. unlucky. That pop had got away. I think Cougars might have had something on there, but Reece Mulholland, he hasn't stopped all night.
Yeah. As the two coaches said, that they're missing a lot of guys, and what they wanted to do was the guys coming in to continue on the structure and show some composure, but obviously once they start to get a bit tired and their technique and their communication goes out the window, Billy, and now we've got another injury, and obviously that's just good play by, I think that must be Eric, a little bit of experience there, having a little bit of spell, giving the team a bit of a rest.
Oxygen tank out for him, I think, because that's all it'll be at the moment.
Dr. Eric knows what he's doing, mate. So, but it's just disappointing because Cougars have had a lot of possession but made a lot of errors and given away some penalties, and we just got to maintain possession and just then put the pressure on South that way. So I don't think Eric's good. He looks like he's the trainers want him replaced. So. Which is a shame because he's been a big part of their scrum here since he's gone on, but looks like it might be his shoulder. He had a bit of a crook shoulder when he was in Brisbane when I was down there, so not too sure. But
as loose as the game has been, there are some big boys on both sides, so the hits are coming hard and fast. I just look at them and I just think, South's got a far more mobile team if they keep the enthusiasm up, but it's so easy for Casuarina in this game. They've got so much power. They don't have to go wide. They don't have to move it fast.
But South have been, turning over possession and giving it back to them. But unfortunately, at this stage of the game, Cougars haven't really grabbed that and made them pay for it. It's just been a bit of a dogfight through the middle and trying to gain ascendancy over the break of the gain line, and obviously Cougars are starting to get some ascendancy in the scrum. But Eric going off now, I'm not too sure who's replaced him, but I think South are back in the game at scrum time now with them losing the big fella.
Well, I reckon there's about 95 to 99% of the attacks been in South's half, so Cougars should have had some points on this by now. And my abacus has run out of beads for the amount of scrums we've had. One last crack before half-time here for Cougars now. And I reckon if they're going to 0-0, this is a win for South. The scrums have been messy, have been a bit hard in there because it is wet, it is slippery, but there's been a couple. It is.
I think South just lost their feet there, but, as I said to you before, Cougars were starting to dominate in the scrum, but I don't know, with the conditions, I think that, you've got to be a little bit more flexible with those big boys in the front, but obviously, Julius's referee's seen something and they've gone straight to the ground, so Cougars get another short arm and take a quick tap and away they go. Let's one last crack before half time. There's Sammy, he only goes one way and he's lost the ball.
And I was about to say to you, I thought, this is going to be a smart move here. They're going to take the 3 points before half time and go in with a lead. And
it's not doing themselves any favours, and you can see the Cougars' heads drop and they're losing a bit of confidence. But look, South are just hanging in, Billy. They're just hanging in. They're making their tackles, and just as I said, they haven't been out of this zone down here for a long time. They had a couple of ventures down into the Cougars 22 and stuff, and then have been down here ever since.
Yeah, we've got a meeting of the Brains Trust there at the moment, and when you've got that number of forwards together, it's going to be fairly in-depth and detailed conversations.
It'll be a short one.
Yeah, it's a group of Mensa inductees there, I would say. But look, this would have to be the last play of the game, and then we'll have a bit of a break. I've got to nick over and grab my wife some dinner, who's watching us over here in the head of production for the Northern Territory Rugby Union, in awe of the professionalism, I think, of the media group we have here tonight. And, she's not someone you want to leave hungry. But here comes South to the back of the scrum now. They've gone one last crack, and this is what you like to see. It's gone behind, though. Now they've got to get the forwards across because they've got an opportunity here. And, geez, Jiminy's been torn in half, I think, by Sammy, the super centre. Are they going to run it? They're going to hit it up, and they're going to have to Summers, and Summers is getting... Sammy's all over it again. He's gone nowhere. He's making sure that South are not going to take advantage of this. Min looks like he's lining up for a box. And he is, and this is where Jiminy needs to come up, and he's gone, we'll have enough, we'll have a break. We will see you in a few moments. And, oh, no, sorry, I missed that. I turned and followed the ball, but there has been a high tackle on the Cougars. Do apologise for that. I do apologise that. I did see, was that on Sammy when he came in with the arm?
I think so.
Yes, I did see Sam come through with the arm there, but I wasn't sure they were going to call that one. So South will get one more crack. A line out at about 3 metres in from halfway. It'd be exciting to see something come off here. We need something to take us into half time. I can see the smile on your face, you know, you'd be just like, geez, come on, South. You know, being a Cougars man and all, you just want to see an exciting game, aren't you?
Mate, old Cougars man.
You just want to see an exciting game. You don't care who wins, do you?
No, it's all about rugby, mate.
Thought, yeah.
Rugby's the winner tonight.
That's right, yeah, rugby's the winner tonight, if South win. But, yeah, anyway, so let's hope to see something comes off this, eh?
Yes.
And there goes the siren. So one last play. Dalton to the back. He's gone to Burge. Burge taken nicely out the Min. Now Min to Mulholland. Luton, and it's gone to the forwards who are lining up in the back, but Sammy's letting him go nowhere again. I think there's been a knock on by Cougars there, but he's cleaned it up, Sammy. And there was a knock on by Cougars, and that should... Oh no, sorry, he's diving over, not keeping his feet. I wasn't looking at the monitor then, I was actually looking at the game from a distance, but Sammy, he's in everything at the moment. His enthusiasm's excellent. And again, another opportunity for South, just about in the best position they've had in the game to lead up here now. You'd have to say, unless there's a score here, I mean, easily Cougars have had the honours, but that's just purely based on field position. Otherwise, I mean, it's been dead even. Now, Min, not a great pass from Mulholland again, showing his hands, and he's done that all night. Oh, a slinging arm there, but he went with the momentum, so it's been all right. Min to Summers, Summers back to Min. Now they're opened up a gap, and they're looking for the flyer there, and it's the young winger didn't quite get the bounce. And the knock-on, unlucky for James Phelps. They're going to go into half-time, and we'll have a break, and we will see you in a few moments. And as we've come back there, the rain has just started to come down slightly heavier, and we have the wind has picked up too. Not a good sign, I can tell you. Once the wind starts picking up in this sort of weather, we know there's a fair bit coming with it. So being 0-0, it's going to make the second half really interesting. Geez, if any team had been in front right now and this came down, they'd be doing backflips.
And I think South are going to be running with this wind, so I'm guessing from their strategy in the first half that they're going to use the same thing in the second half to try and get some field position, Billy. But just going on these figures, like we spoke about before the game about, the team that has less penalties and makes less mistakes and all that. Cougars have given away 7 or 8 penalties, and Dragons, South aren't far behind them, but they've only given away 3 or 4. But, a lot of the penalties that the Cougars have given away have been when they've been in attacking positions, and I'm sure their coach Luigi Andrioli wouldn't be happy, and I'm guessing Jack is probably a little bit happy because they're still hanging in, and as you said, now this rain's pelting down and the wind's going down to the opposite end of the scoreboard. It's going to be fun and games.
Well, it's going to be definitely that. Any team playing first grade, whether you're at the bottom of this comp or the top, if you've got this amount of wind and rain coming in your direction, you shouldn't be getting out of your half.
I shouldn't have been getting out of my house, Billy. I should have been home listening and watching on the YouTube with a couple of quiet beers and something to eat. But anyway, if you what you do, mate.
At home listening on YouTube, then we wonder who'd be actually talking about rugby on this one. But, look, so South with the kick-off here, they've got it all to play for. They're playing for second position to then take on Cougars in 2 weeks' time for a place straight through to the grand final. But this wind is going to be huge for them. And if they play their cards right, this will knock it out of Cougars' half. But then Cougars, they've only got to hold on to the ball and the game could be anyone's. Here we go, and Mins put it nice and high. It's gone nice and deep, back into the 22, and South are right on this. There's so much pressure there, but the good job by Cougars. That's actually a pretty handy kick because South were right on top, weren't they?
That's the start you wanted, good kick into the corner, Billy, good kick chase, put the pressure on. You can see by the touch judge flags how strong that wind is going down towards the opposite end of the scoreboard. So I think South have drawn the right straw at the start of the game, so they just need to consolidate now and put pressure.
Oh, terrible throw, a bit of confusion, but then South get the ball back as they would have wanted to. It sort of ruined what they had planned, but now this is where you need the forwards to just re-establish themselves, get them back to where they need to be so they can go back to their game plan. Unfortunate there, the young fella, Alex, he got caught. South not quick enough over the ball. Good work by Casuarina.
Too much ball watching there, Billy. Everyone's watching the ball carrier instead of trying to get into position and make sure you secure and maintain that possession and not give away that penalty. The bloke that I've seen is missing tonight is Jake Ranger. I haven't seen Jake, and he makes a big difference to that team. And obviously, they're missing their starting halfback because normally you'd have Jake Ranger with Mulholland in the centres with Vinnie Min. So there's been a few shuffling around. So.
Yeah, and they're still missing their captain as well. He had a 1-game suspension, and I'm not sure, maybe he's picked up an injury in that game as well, which hasn't quite got there yet. And this is where Cougars now need to be sensible. They have to play percentage ball, and that's a good line out in the wet conditions, but they're going to go boom, bash, right up the middle. And here comes the wrecking ball. He's been held up nicely, though. That's Lachlan there from the Manly Marlins in Sydney. He's done a great job to take on a man twice his weight. But it's been messy at the back, and again, giving an opportunity for South to get in there and make a mess of it. But everybody's lying all over it. Cougars have got the ball back nicely, and South's ready to go. Geez, there's some big boys in that Casuarina. You look up, there's someone again who's just got shoulders on them, like the Empire State Building, haven't they? Taken down nicely now, and South are all over that too, but Cougars, great job. And the big winger for Cougars, he's got room, he's got space, he's been taken down. Oh, great tackle. Geez, the little Fijian there, Sulawali, was the one man to beat, and he's done a great job of that. But Cougars still with the ball and still dangerous. And he's been, again, no need to push the line, was there? In these conditions, you're going to slip and slide.
just some great scrambling defence by the bunnies down there, and it was that Seki Toga, the big winger, was flying down the wing there, and so right now, now the ladies have got some entertainment down there, Billy, right in front of the tents, and I can hear plenty of encouragement. Whether they know what they're talking about, I'm not too sure, but they're having a great time, and here's a line out. And
it's out. Cougars right on quick. There's a messy ball, but all it needed to do was stay secure in someone's hands. This has got to go on the boot of Min, who's been good under pressure. Didn't quite get it out, but he's got him plenty of distance now. There we go, and the penalty gone against Cougars. He's coming back to have a chat now, the referee. Looks like they might have been offside.
Yeah, I think offside, Billy, from that. But that was a pretty good clearing kick from Min. I mean, I know it didn't go out, but it went a long way. And they had the penalty, and there's a good touch finder. So now they can start to build some momentum again and hopefully win this line out and find some space or some field position or get over the gain line and then, stress out the Cougars' defence. And as we said before, the rain's still coming down, so the conditions aren't getting much better.
I can easily see with the conditions out there, that wind has got to gain them an extra 10 metres in that kick. Both teams only need a link in the chain to connect them, and they're going to roll over this game. So, bit of a messy line out by Cougars, but they've got it back, which counts, and a knock on again. It's just that fraction of a second with a little bit of pressure, and I think pressure is going to win this game tonight because every time someone's had someone on top of them, they've just made a mess of it.
Yeah, they're coach killers, aren't they? Just, these errors are just adding up, and then on top of that with the penalties, it was always going to be a slugfest, like as Jack Forrest, the South Darwin coach, said before the game. You just got to be in that fight for 80 minutes and just hang in, and you never know what's going to happen.
There's one player I'd like to see come on, and I'm going to sound ridiculous by saying it, but an old head in the backs like Evan Needham or someone just to talk would be really handy for South, and I'm sure Cougars could do with the same thing. Just someone to talk, to say you're okay. You don't have to rush it and knock it on. There we go to Luton again. Now he's put it straight down the middle, down to PJ. PJ's taking it nicely, and he's just going to look for distance, and that's a nice low kick with the wind drop a bit. He's got it nice. Now the young winger's got it now, and he's looking for distance as well. And it's just going to be a kick fest from here on, I think. Whoever can get it down the right end of the field and make less mistakes. And
yeah, I think Luton's got a really good boot, Billy. I don't think he needs to rush that. Like most of the time, 75% of the time he's kicked it straight to a Cougar. You got to try and kick it to gain some distance or look for space. And if you find space in this weather, the ball's very hard to control, and then you can put pressure on it.
Well, the other thing for him too, he's always had plenty of time. He's just got to give himself another fraction of a second, just have a look. Oh, and that's a big win by Cougars there. It looked like it was going to the top, but they've taken that well too. Everything's going well their way at the moment. It's spilled out the back, but this is where they need to be. This is all they need to do. Just keep going up the guts.
They've come out with a better attitude where they're just trying to get over the gain line, getting around the corner, simple stuff, going forward.
Oh, he nearly came to the right-hand side of the field, the commentary box side, and that was going to be a mistake because no one was out here. But now the arm's gone out. The penalty advantage.
Great leg drive.
Great drive by Cougars, and this is now South need to get right on top of this because the advantage is still on. They're going to have to kill it off out here in the wing and hopefully bring it back because I've just seen the hands go up and I could see PJ, the 5'8" for Casuarina, he was looking to kick to the wing.
They're offside again, so not too sure how many more penalties the refs or how much more patience the refs going to have for both teams because these penalties are starting to build up for both teams at the moment. But this is a perfect opportunity. You would take the 3 points, get some points, and then start again, Billy, and get down the other end.
I mean, you can think now if they've taken a few points down there and there might be 6 or 9 points up already, and add this to it, then that's a solid lead in this sort of game. But it was going to look interesting there. I saw the arms go up from the fullback Hill, who was right out on our side of the field. He was ready for the cross kick, and he was a bit more prepared than what we saw last night in the Waratahs Brumbies game, if anybody saw that, when the Brumbies kicked cross field and the winger didn't even have his mouth guard in, having a chat to the linesman before it bounced in his chest.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough game last night, but the the game I watched last night, and it's always a good rugby over there, is the Chiefs and the Crusaders, and the Chiefs got over the top of the Crusaders. Slow starters, the Crusaders, but they'll come good now, but great rugby.
Yeah, it was all looking good for the World Cup ahead. Now PJ's not a lot of pressure, but it's hard kicking conditions, and he's done well with it. Never looked like missing. Came off the boot well. And there's the first points of the night. 3 points up the Cougars are, and that's all they need to do. Both teams in these conditions just need to be taking away points when they're under the posts.
Apart from all this exciting rugby at Rugby Park, Billy, you've got plenty of games on. You had the Mano Pacifica and the Drua in Super Rugby, and that was a fantastic game. Reds Hurricanes tonight. Western Force are playing tonight, so there's a fair menu of rugby, and then you got Six Nations.
Great charge down by Suwali. There was a good pressure, but Cougars are going to make the most. PJ's been having a great game as he's been come up from reserve grade. And Vili Baba now, he's put it on the boot. There's no need for that. He had people outside him, and he had some big boppers. But it's been spilled, all ends up. And now Souths are going to look like they don't need to panic, they just need to be on top. And Mulholland's had a bit of a dart there. Now they just need it. Summers on his own, he's got to get there and have someone over the top. And there's young Alex, there's the forward, there's Dalton as well. Now Min, someone's got to talk to him and let him know what's going on. Lachlan, a nice little dart. This is where they can keep going, and he's been moved forward and knocked it on. He went that second. It didn't need to go that second dart, but on the ground. But he had no support.
Yeah, a little bit unorganised there. The big prop. He got the ball and he only knew one way to go, and South did really well to get to him. But then it was just trying to gain that extra little metre on the ground, and we just turned the ball over. So, but South are in the right end of the field, Billy. You know.
Not sure the advantage was played enough there, but anyway. Both teams just needed to keep it tight. Summers was on his own. He needed to go back towards the ruck, I think, on the angle.
I'm not too sure if that the big number 7 for South, that midfield bomb was in his menu. But no. You know, they're down here, and they've been down here for a little while now. And we said that before half time.
Yeah, when you're 6'4" and run 100 and about 10 flat, you don't really want to be putting on the boot, do you? But then Cougars, everything's going their way at the moment. Right back to PJ, but the pressure again by South has been great. And here we go, Big Pedro. Big Pedro's just got to run, give himself forward, something to do, but he's been spun around and off to Luton. Luton's gone wide now too, and now they've got some room. This will be interesting for South because they had the 2 fastest men on the paddock, and he scored. Great try by South out wide. I thought he might have mucked it up there for a moment. I thought that they didn't need to do that.
They also had the advantage for a penalty, so...
Yeah, look, the kick was not brilliant, going straight down the throat of Pedro. And then Luton, he saw the opportunity out wide with thinning defence, and Cougars just had to be desperate. And while Sulawali put it on the boot, he had his flying mate Jiminy there, and there was a bit of a mess in there as you get with the wet conditions. No one could clean it up, and then Sulawali cleans up his own kick and scores.
Yeah, well, it was good by South there. They consolidated. A poor kick out of their own 22 by Cougars straight to the big number 8. They recycled the ball. They reset quickly on that edge, Billy, and they got the ball to the edge. And as you said, probably the kick wasn't the right idea, but once it's on the floor bouncing around in this weather, then anything can happen, and you can see the end result was a try to South, and they're back in the game now. Well, they're leading the game now, and this guy's a reasonably good kicker, so let's see what happens.
Is that Luton again? He's gone a bit wide. Jeez, the conditions are hard here, everybody, so that was going to be a great kick if he got it over.
Well, that'll give South a bit of confidence now, Billy. I think, like they're playing to the structure and they're playing to the space, and it's hard to defend, especially in this weather. And there are a few of the Cougars boys. They're very slow to get back for the kick-off, and obviously, as you said, with 8 injuries, they've obviously relied on some guys from B grade. So look, they're going to have to dig deep and finish the game off strong.
That was the only way I could see South scoring, actually. The way the game was going, it was always going to go that way if South were going to score. It's just now, can they keep the pressure on? Can they bring down Cougars, who are going for an undefeated season? Now to Min. Min's gone deep with the boot. He's gone, pushed the winger, didn't take it cleanly, but they've get an opportunity to send it back, and it's an awful kick. And this is the man who you do not want to give it to when he's open space. And now South can do something with it. He's put it on the boot with support all around him. I'm not sure that was the best idea, but Suwali, great little tackle. I think he might have gone a bit high though. He sort of slipped up on the wet jersey, but South, they're keen, aren't they? It's a mess, but they were keen. Suwali just gone a little bit high. I'm not sure he had the confidence to take him low, did he?
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just they were both slipping a bit and the other guy dived. But I question that kick from South. You're either going to kick it deep and have a bit better chase, but you gave the opportunity to Cougars he's a bit unlucky there, I reckon.
Yeah, we've had three players inside you, probably only one in a really good position, but I mean, you've just got it. Ball in hand is the mantra for rugby around the world. And
yeah, I don't think the kick was a bad idea, but it wasn't executed. It should have been deeper into the Cougars territory, because then the winger from Cougars wouldn't have that opportunity to pick that ball up. So, but South have definitely lifted.
Had he gone deep, I reckon that was a try. Because Suwali is so quick. There's the two quickest players are him and Jiminy, and there's no way the Cougars could have turned around quick enough. So again, it's just those little 1% of thinking moments that they're not taking advantage of. Now, what can Cougars do here? They've got to get out of their half, and they've got to start putting some pressure on South.
Well, they've had a good line out. They've won most of their ball. They've got a couple of tall timbers there who've been delivering the ball to the halfback.
Oh, and that's unfortunate, because that was the wind who drew that apart. For him to actually get that straight, I think it was impossible to get straight. He would have to throw it to the South halfback to even get it down the middle there, I think. This is going to be interesting now too, because a few substitutions for South, and Cougars forward pack should be able to take advantage of this. But Souths are playing sort of, playing well in panic rugby, but Cougars aren't doing much wrong either. They just need to finish off.
Reece Mulholland is a long way back from this scrum.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just trying to look at what they were trying to pull off here, because they're giving themselves plenty of room, and again they're going the boot, and it's gone awkward bounce, but it's gone straight down to PJ again, who's been waiting for it. Then they can't rely on Cougars making poor kicks, and that looks like it's been pretty handy, but they've gone a long way back, and there's pressure there. They better make the most of it, because they're running out of time, and Cougars are putting good pressure on them there. And when I meant running out of time before the defence was going to be there. And again, we're looking at this kicking drill. South need to look up now. Look up and come wide. They've got plenty of people everywhere here. They've got speed. They've got size. There's big... And he's got to go wide. Oh, there's a big hit. And now they're 22. He's got to go. He's got the big man there. South again. Oh, I tell you what. There's going to be a card here, I think, because South were going to score. Whoa, okay, that's an interesting...
the South have mouthed
South were filthy, and I reckon they've got there's just never answer back to the referee, but there was every opportunity there. I mean, the referee, that was a penalty every day of the week and a card. That was try time. South had to caught that in their hands. Vinny Min appealing to the touchy. I'm not sure he's going to get much love there either. But he's got every right to feel robbed. And Cougars get away with one.
Yeah, but South are still in the right part of the field, Billy, and they've had a couple of good... it's over the...
Yeah, and we're just going to have a bit of a moment here where the ball's gone out the back, so we've sent our ball girl out there to go and get it. And I think she's a bit more worried about her hair than anything else. Ball girl being my wife.
Well, normally if it's an NTRU game, which it's not tonight, we have ball kids here, so it's the Cougars' home game, so they probably needed to provide the... There's another line out, didn't go to the mark, but they got the right result, and they're just probably going to need to hit someone up midfield here.
And South said, Mulholland, he's gone in quick, and that was good. He disturbed the run. He went a bit high, but he's done a great job to stop the Cougars getting a run on. But there's Tavers now, and it's like Cougars have got some room and they've got some pace out wide. Here's the hard man to stop. And the arm's gone out again. Now South have got to start being careful here because everything's going against them. And looks like he might be pulling out a card here. This will be interesting because there's going to be some pressure on him to pull out a card when he's gone high.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's not necessary, Billy. South are in front, 5-3, and have had a lot of pressure on Cougars. So, you know, like, you just got to be smart. I think he's got away with one there. I mean, I think the referee's patience is going to run out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, there wasn't much in it. I just had a second look at all, and you know, so he's done the right thing and just letting the ball get the teams to play. But
as I said, the penalties are building up for both sides, so now they've got to be careful, especially in different parts of the field, because the referee's tolerance level won't last much longer. His patience will run out, and that's fair enough too.
Rightio, so it's all Cougars here at the moment for the line out, and again they've been great on the line out all night. Another solid one. They've been trying to push forward, but South have countered that exceptionally well. Geez, they're driving them back, but a nice little dart at the back which has saved them, and they've got a lot of support players there. So Cougars are really making the most of this now. South have got to get back and they've got to shut this down, because this is what Cougars have needed to do all night. They've just needed to have the inside-outside runners off the forwards just to get them up the other end and then kill off the game. Tavers, he's a strong runner and has been all year, and again he's showing that he can get past the advantage line. Now Cougars going for the kill out wide, and it's an awful pass, and there's going to be an advantage here now because Sawali, who's got speed, and he's got to get up and he's got to run, and looks like he's going to run it. Is the whistle gone? No, but there's plenty of players who have stopped. They're going to go back here and have a look at something now because the players had stopped and I was following the ball, so I'd missed what happened.
Well, you were doing what they should have been doing. You got to play the whistle, Billy. Like, everyone stopped and waited for the whistle. The whistle didn't blow. Play on.
I'm just having a little look at it now to see what's happened, but the 22, he'd passed the ball, yeah, and look, nothing much in it. The 22 had passed the ball, and the Cougars did a late hit with the shoulder. Just a bit of just knocking him off his spot a bit. Probably would generally be a penalty, but the touchy is didn't put his flag in, so I'm not sure.
I think the referee's going to run out of patience in a very short space of time, Bill.
Well, we know he's not scared to throw a few cards around.
Oh, no, but, you know, they're probably justified. There's been too many penalties, too many cheap shots, and you know, you do make exceptions for the weather.
Yep.
At the end of the day, we've got to have a game.
Absolutely. And look, I'm not. And by saying that, I'm not having go at the referee either. You know, he's a young referee and he's doing a great job this year. And it was just more to say he's got the confidence, I guess, to stand up and dish them if he needs to. You know, then that should. I would call that a penalty, but you know, he's letting the game flow, and in these conditions, you got to. Not a great position for South, but again, they've been reasonable in attack. They've just got to start. They've just got to do something and let it finish.
Well, they'll be going to Mulholland and giving it to Luton, and he'll be kicking it long, I'd imagine.
Seems to be the way they've been going.
I don't know why they wouldn't change it.
And there we go again. But Mulholland was looking for the dart now. I think that was the call to start with. And now there's been a knock on. It's been put on the boot. And South's here now. Looks like it's all South, and he's just got to get a clean run. And there's a go. Is that Sawali again? He's got the pop and it's been knocked on right in front of the line. Oh, unlucky. They just had to slow down a pace, didn't they?
I think he could have kept toe on the ball, couldn't he? He just could have kept going, Luton. He did a great job. And that's what I mean. The ball on the floor is very hard to pick up. I just think he should have been a bit more patient here and just did the little football along the ground and kept it going. He would have just about kicked it over the line, I imagine.
Well, again, you're right, absolutely right. You only need to get them on the toe, and then Solowali was all over it. He would have got his second. But anyway, look, they're still in a position. They're still in a strong position in the hard part of the field. We've got 10 minutes to go. 12 minutes to go. 12 minutes to go, and while there's still plenty of time, the way this game has gone, that's becoming a handy lead. I mean, it's only 3-5, but...
Well, South are in the right end of the field, and Cougars have got a lot of work to do to get back down the other end now. They've been down the other end, but just making silly mistakes and trying things that they probably haven't tried for a while.
Yep, and as we say, sorry mate, sorry to cut you off. As we say that, the wind has picked up a little bit more, and this is going to make the kick really hard. Big scrum by South, a lot of pressure on the kicker, and he's kept it in the field of play, has he? And that's, tell you what, a handy result.
Not a bad kick under pressure into the wind, but that was a much better. So now South are getting some confidence, and there was a much better scrum there from South. Put them under pressure, and now they've got a line out on the 30 metre. Let's see what they can do. I mean, if they're smart and stay composed, they can probably score more points.
Well, from what I've just been from this hand signals and what I saw balls going, I reckon this is going to go wide. That's the plan. I could see the boys spreading out a fair bit here, but that's good rugby all round. Good pressure by South, and then good kick to get it out. Oh, and good spoil by Kaz. It's been knocked on again, though. Oh.
Comedy of errors, Billy.
Well, I would laugh, mate, but I don't know whether I should cry.
I don't know if the two coaches will be laughing. I mean...
Oh, look, in the end of the day, look, the conditions are epic, though. The amount of rain we've had, it is very, very hard. The rain today, as of from Wednesday, has been drizzle like this and then downpour, then drizzle, then downpour. It has been relentless. So we've got to be careful not to be too hard. I mean,
yeah, but I think you've got to play to the conditions.
I don't know about you, mate, but I still feel like I could get out there and have a crack, and I'm 17.
No, mate.
I feel like it.
No.
I can talk it. I can tell you how good I am now if you want. If we've got enough, no, we haven't got enough time to tell you how good I am, but we might make our special on that.
No, Billy, you're much better up here with me.
Yeah, I think so too. I make better decisions up here.
You do.
and I can tell the other blokes what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, but I agree with you, the conditions, but you got to simplify it, and that's what the Cougars coach said to me during the week. He said he wants to keep it simple, and I don't think they're keeping it simple because they're making too many errors.
So while we have a bit of a breather for a man down, looks like Matt Sandell, the coach, was over there just having a bit of a look, the assistant coach, and running a bit of water. Dalton West, he's been all right tonight too. He's a fairly solid unit, but not when you come up against some of these boys. He's not that big. So South, opportunity now.
Golden opportunity, yeah.
But then Cougars, their scrum's been great. I mean, this is again for them. I can see them doing some damage here if South aren't careful. And look, they've opted just to sit back and wait. And as they come now, it's a slow pass. And geez, the talk was there, but Mulholland's been caught. The ball's gone back. It's just been, the arm's gone out. Let's see what happens here, because the arm went out from the referee. I'm not sure if it was for anything, for a knock-on or what, but South want to go wide. They want to test the pace and the speed, and another knock-on.
Yeah.
What would you do here, mate? Do you take the 3?
100%.
Yeah, you just got to get the points. They haven't been real successful in structured play so far. Their line-outs haven't been as good.
No.
Or would you go to the scrum?
No, definitely go 3 points.
Yeah, good call.
Takes them out to 8-3, which means Cougars have to score a try to square the game up. But Cougars got a bit lazy there. There was a penalty there for offside. So right in front of the post, and obviously, if this kick goes over, Billy, Cougars restart. Dragons have the same game plan, kick the ball long, good kick chase, put the Cougars under pressure, and you're back down the right end of the field like we've been saying all game.
Yep.
He was never going to miss that. That's a good kick. So now,
8 points to 3 we're looking at now, and just the body language has changed. I mean, earlier on in the game, and it wasn't too early, it wasn't too late in the game either. South's body language wasn't great to sort of start in the first 15-20 minutes of the game, but now you can completely switched, and literally with the wind at their back, they've actually mentally taken those. It's opened up the sails too. Also,
Cougars have lost, Eric Erickson and a couple of boys that were really dominating that scrum, and South are back in the game scrum time now. So, yeah, and there's been a big workload on the centres.
There you go, Cougar straight down the guts now too, and then Luton again. He's just going for distance. They want to get out of their zone. They do not want to give Cougars a chance to score here, and here come the Flyers again. Jiminy, Luton's got him on side. Sawali now, and they're looking to put a bit of pressure on. PJ, they just needed to dive on it, but now the kick in the south half. Vinny Min, the cool head in the team, he's gone wide looking for the middle of the field. And that's gone straight down the throat of Cougars again too. There's just got to be some enterprising kicks here. And then you got Vili Baba. I'm not from this angle. I wasn't quite sure if he was out when he took the ball. He didn't seem too worried when he dropped it. You know, in these conditions, what would be ideal, and it's a butcher move, but there haven't been a 50-22.
No.
And I mean, if these conditions, where the ball's skidding across the grass, that is ideal.
Yeah.
That's your move for the night.
I think the ball was out, Billy, so that's why the big man was a little bit lackadaisical, because it was already out. So the Dragons have got another line out, another opportunity to play some field position.
Pretty hard to tell sometimes with these Fijians about lackadaisical, isn't it? Lackadaisical, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, big win by Alex there, and they've got to get the wall out wide, so they don't have to, but they are. Luton again, this has been his go-to tonight, and again the speedsters putting pressure on PJ, who's been solid. Great, he's had a great night for a reserve grader. I'm sure he's played a bit of first grade too. By the look of him, he looks like a footballer. He looks like a back going straight to the front row, doesn't he?
See, that's a great kick there. You know, like they finally slowed it down, kick long, good chase. Now they're back at the right end of the field with not long to go, and you know they're putting pressure on Cougars.
And now I think the nerves now for University, isn't it? The nerves for University, if this maintains the way it is. And here come some fresh reserves. Burge coming back on now, and he's good to come back on. He's a man you want. And then another front row to finish it off. An excellent decision with a few minutes, with 13 to go. Oh, a bit of a mess by Cougar, but it has gone back, and a no-look pass from the halfback put pressure on the back line now. South moving up quick, but they have to maintain this because the big bopper in the middle is making good use to help his team get back forward. Here's a good run by Casuarina. But South have got to be careful here, and look, and that's what you didn't want to see. He was just out of place there, South on the far side. Couldn't quite see who it was. Might have been the number 8, but he was in a bad position, and the offside's going to be called here in a minute.
That's a penalty.
Yeah, and the penalty has gone back as we thought. Coming in from the side. Again, this is not what, you know, there's plenty of time left. It's been their downfall all year. Geez, they just, this silly basic little things that they need to understand as a first grade footballer is you cannot go over the line, you cannot come in from the side.
Especially in the last 10 minutes of a game like this, where they've fought hard, they've stayed in the game, Billy, and you just want to don't give away those silly penalties, especially, as I said, the last 10 or 12 minutes is the most important part of the game. And, you know, Cougars can reset here, kick long, get a good line out, and then get themselves back in the game.
And this is so important for South because it's going to be an interesting final series. Dragons were flying home with a wet sail, as they always do, and they were just missed out by a game. And there's a pretty awful kick by Cougars there. They missed out by a game. So whoever gets into the knockout semi is up against Palmerston. Now, while South have done a bit of a job on Palmerston this year, Uni haven't.
No.
And Uni have struggled against them, so they're no easy beat. So this getting into second place is...
Well, you want to be able to have the opportunity to have 2 cracks at it.
And while Cougars have been the more settled and structured team, that's what stopped them from getting beaten. But I still don't think there's a lot between the top 3.
No.
Good line out again by Cougars, and Cougars are doing what they've done all right tonight. That's a good maul, and now South being penalised for... I didn't see a South player at the bottom there, actually. He's penalised South for bringing that down, but I didn't see a player go down underneath, so he might have been on the far side. Anyway.
Smart play from Cougars there,
Yeah.
Billy. Just wearing him down and wearing him down, getting another penalty, and they probably should do the same thing down here until they get, closer in and inside the 22, and then launch an attack.
Yeah, and this is what South is showing their hand. They know out wide they're going to be dangerous, and while they've spilled a lot of ball and it hasn't come off, they're finding Casuarina at 6 and 7s. Casuarina, this is what they need to do. They'd have this game sewn up if they kept it up. And again they go for the drive, and South again, who have been brilliant on the defence of that tonight, but the big man has come out the back again. And this is what Cougars need to do. It's got one big man after another, and it's going to go boom, bash, bang. But South, nice. The defence line is good, but they've got to maintain that now, not let them through, because this is a dangerous part, and the arm
goes out for a high tackle,
again.
I think.
Against South, they just cannot allow this to happen. Cougars making the most. They're settled now. Here we go. They're going to take him on. They're going to take him up now the middle. And here comes the super centre, Sammy. He's been taken down nicely.
Cougars don't need to panic here. They got the penalty, Billy. So they want to try and score a try, I guess.
Yeah, well, they're going to... it doesn't matter how slow they go with the conditions. It's going to be their advantage if they do.
Can't score tries without the ball.
No, and South need to get them wide. Need to just keep pushing that wide. Don't let them come back on the inside, because if they do go over, they need to make it hard on the kick. But good defence there now. They're right on the line. This is where the players are lining up in the middle now. Just the left towards the crowd too. They're going to get the big boppers going together, and it's going to be hard to stop. Oh! And there's been lip. And if you're a coach right now, you are filthy. How red would your face be? And if there's going to be some back chat to the referee, I reckon that player will be getting a fair bit of back chat from his coach too, I'd say, because that is unexcusable. Geez, you wouldn't want to be him in the change rooms, would you, afterwards?
It's just ridiculous, mate. It's not necessary. You're in possession. You're going to look like scoring a try, putting the other team in under pressure, and you're also winding down the clock. So if you score that try and kick the conversion, you're in front. And I don't understand that. Anyway.
Yeah, there's no words for it. I mean, you can see, we're throwing our hands up in the air when blokes are dropping the ball, or blokes are doing silly little things, coming in from the side, and when you're tired and things, that can happen. But to say something to a referee that is derogatory
when you're in possession and nearly scoring a try, I've never seen that, Billy.
You're less than a metre out.
In all my career, I've never seen a penalty for that, and now there's a penalty to Cougars.
Gee, I tell you what, this is going to be hard. South have got to hold on here, because this means more to South than it does to Cougars. But at the moment, you couldn't tell, because Cougars are finding a second wind. They've just got to get this ball and go.
There was a penalty for offside, so there must have been offside in the line out.
Yeah, I didn't see it myself, because South had the throw. Can you explain that one?
No.
Anyway, we'll move on. So, look, this is going to be great for Cougars, right in front of the crowd.
They're getting plenty of encouragement. I can hear that.
I can hear South getting a bit of encouragement too. I'm not sure they're considering encouragement though. They just need to maintain this great line-out they've had all night, and they have, and South's doing what they've done a good job all night and trying to line up the defence, but they've got to have someone on the fringe, because this is where the big boys are going to come off the side here in a minute. You can put your money on it that they're going to come off the side. South have just got to keep them to the sideline.
They just need to be calm and composed and get lower and get the ball to the back of that maul, and then there's going to be a penalty somewhere, or there's going to be a turnover of possession.
South are fighting now in the ruck. It's going to be interesting to see that comes out. And it's been a knock on. Ooh.
No, collapse more, Billy.
Sorry, thank you for the correction, mate. I was...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, all Cougars had to do, they've been doing it well all night. Show some composure, get the ball to the back, keep their structure in their maul and just keep driving forward. But fair play to South there. They got in there and they hold on to the ball and collapse them all, and they're still in it.
So anybody who's looking at the clock, it looks like there's around about 6 minutes to go. So there's just been a bit of a mess on the clock. So for those who are riding on this game, there is 6 minutes to go. I think both of us are ready for full time, aren't we? I think we're keen. I think they should just call it now. I think the conditions are a bit too rough.
Yeah, you're a South man, that's why, Billy.
Oh well, you can't tell I'm trying to be impartial, can you?
Well, fair. Look, give them credit where credit's due. They've hung in. Yeah, but if Cougars been smart, I don't think so.
They've made me nervous all year though, so I'm not confident in. But there we go in the back of the scrum. Looks like the halfback's offside there for Cougars, but and it's been charged down. The only saving grace here for South is they're going to get the throw. But that was a mess. What were they thinking? I'd like to see that again, and we'll get that up here in a minute. But so as they get to realign again, South have to make the most and make sure. But they're unlucky there. South looked like the half was offside for Cougars. Yeah, they go. Well, it's Cougars throwing for. Sorry about that. I missed that myself. And another mess by Cougars, and it's been put on the boot. Gee, I thought there was a huge mistake by South to actually kick that for a moment. I thought they needed to actually either get it out further or just play a bit of solid football for a minute just to get them all on, and it's come off for them. That's a rabbit out of the hat, isn't it?
Well, this is all eventuated from when you're in possession, back chatting the referee and giving away a penalty. This is the situation we're in 7 minutes later. It's just... And South scrum's been going all right, so South will get this ball out. They'll clear it long with the centre like they've been doing all night, and then they've just got to have a kick chase, and they'll put Cougars back under pressure.
Yeah, look what's going to happen here. I reckon there's going to go... Well, you've got Mulholland to the left of the scrum. You've got... it's going to go right because your two flyers, Sawali and Jiminy, are on the right-hand side. So it's going to be interesting to see where this one goes.
I don't know if they'll
might rely on the
show their hand and run down this short side with Mulholland on a 3-on-2, but you never know.
Oh, you're kidding. I tell you what, it's interesting how this game is panning out now, because I think I was having a look at that. I thought it was a bit harsh call myself. Oh, and great take by South. They've got the ball back. And there's been a knock on. Cougars had gone to sleep.
Great work from the big prop there from South, and he had the ball and then he knocked it on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, interesting call in that last scrum. I was just watching that before, and I watched the number one for Cougars. He's gone the yank to pull it down, but looked pretty solid to me.
I think the errors and the penalties and some stupidity here has made this a pretty close game, Billy. And it's exciting for the crowd, I guess, but...
Well, there's been a few factors that have kept them in it, besides the mistakes, and there's been mistakes by everyone tonight. I don't think anybody's walking off that field real happy with themselves. But if they can just scrape here now, we're looking at 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes 17. So South just have to hang on. I can see Eunice on the edge of their seat now, just praying for another scrum penalty here. And the ball's been broken out the back. It's gone out to the big fella, but he had no support because his outside man ran in front of him. South's good clean up from Mulholland has come out and cleaned up the big man. He's had a great game, Mulholland, and South's going over the ball. Who's he calling out here? Who's he calling? Oh, and this is not on. This is going to cause trouble for everyone here. There's been a bit of play in the background there, and this is what neither team needed. Just watching a bit of push and shoving. I think there was a punch thrown there by...
I think the Cougars fella might have thrown a punch.
I think South threw one too, but there was... I'm just had a look back at the replay. I'm not sure what he's got the penalty for, to be honest. I had a look at the replay. I didn't see anything in that. He might be saying to Robbie, did you see anything? Put my arm up. I'm a bit perplexed what's going on. I'm just interested to see what happened in the before, but there was a... And while we sit back and wait, I mean, the time is now 1 minute 26 to go for anybody who's really sitting on seeing on what's happening on the time here at the moment. So 1 minute 26 to go. It's still anybody's. I think South are in a bit of trouble here with the penalty, and personally, I'm really hoping Cougars go for the kick. But that's not going to happen. They're just... Yeah, so what's happening here? The 17 has gone marching over to South. He's throwing a punch, and then South has thrown one back. So I'll be interested to see who goes here, because I'm not sure why he needed to run over to chase the opposite.
Red card.
Well, I'm expecting one here to go to Cougars too, I'd say, and looks like it's going to. I mean, I can't dispute that, because Suwali unfortunately did throw one there. And we're just waiting to see what's happened, but it's got to be a red for both, have to be. Here we go. And then we've got to see which way the arm goes. 1-2 punches. And the arm's gone South's way. Well, that could have been anyone's there with that little scuffle, but...
Reverse the penalty, so look, I don't want to say it, but there's a bit more stupidity from Cougars, and they didn't have to do that. They had the penalty, Billy.
Yeah.
Same as before, they were going to score a try, and then someone mouthed off to the referee. Well, there'll be a big week at training next week for these guys, because I think if anything else doesn't happen, I think Cougars have let Dragons off the hook, but as we spoke about all game, they've just hung in, Billy, hung in.
Well, for anyone, next week we don't have a telecast or a game. We have the Masters on, so that'll be a good event to have. So these teams got a break. By the looks of, I know these two teams won't be having a break, and I don't know. I'd hate to be seeing how many beach runs and laps Cougars will be doing after that with a muzzle on. But lucky for them, it doesn't really affect their standings. But this is going to mean everything to South. We're now looking with 30 seconds to go, 40 seconds to go. They've just got to get a clean ball and keep the ball in tow. Oh, it's been won by Cougars. Now this is going to put a lot of pressure on them, and I can see the uni fans now up in their seats screaming at the TV. But South lined up nicely.
There's no one in behind. Have a look at the space, Billy.
He's kept his feet there, South. He's gone forward. There's been a knock on to the half. I tell you what, there's 12 seconds to go. And they've all kept their tongues this time, and I was supposed to coach this year. After seeing this, geez, I'm glad I didn't.
This is why coaches go grey early in their years, mate.
This needs to be a big scrum for Cougars, and Uni are riding every bit of it, because this is going to make all the difference to their finals. What are they going to produce? Can Cougars drive this back? They've got to be fired up. They're looking really good, flat and hard, and they are trying to have a good crack at it too. But South have just got to get it out. Why he passed it, he gone. That's the game over. South take that. That's huge win for them. Huge win for South. Huge win for the club, who pushed themselves into second position. Cougars are a little bit sort of stunned. There's a bit of chat going on there now. Hands on hips. But gee, I don't know how to call that game, mate, because there's so much went on. If as a spectator, if you're impartial, or even if you're not, just seeing there was a bit of excitement for the running. There was I guess the errors in discipline were a little bit exciting if you're not part of it. But if you are part of those clubs, geez, you're going to be frustrated.
if you're a South Darwin supporter like you, they'd be as happy as Larry, because they just, as we said before the game, Billy, they hung in, and Cougars let them back in, and there was a lot of mistakes. And look, these things aren't hard to fix. It's just getting down to the training and working on different things specific to make things better. And look, Cougars have been free running at the top of the table, so this will give them a bit of a wake-up call coming into the finals. And Dragons with their full team back will obviously that'll give them some confidence going forward into the final series. So, but a lot of these teams they've got to make sure that they fix up their discipline coming into finals, because it's a whole different ball game coming into finals. As I said, the teams that make less mistakes, give away less penalties, and have good defence will normally win games.
Yeah, and in a lot of competitions you'll say, this team's dominating for this reason, or this team's going to dominate this team, and you can sort of see a trend during the year. And again, as we said before, while they've dominated the competition, it hasn't been a pure a season of dominance.
Right. Any team can beat any team in this competition. And, obviously, there are different things that Cougars, they've had 8 or 9 people out and they haven't had the full strength team, but a lot of the teams have been in the same situation all year. So South, they gutsed it out. They probably deserve the win in the end, and it makes the competition very interesting going forward now. So I guess we just wait and see what happens in the next few weeks.
Well, I feel like South chanced their hand and did take the game away, but it was far from convincing, and I really feel that Cougars just, even though they had those players missing, they could have put 20 odd points on South and really taken away from them early had they had, I guess, a wet weather plan. They had the power up the middle, they had the ability to do that, but it was just somewhere along the line. Maybe it is having the players they haven't played with all year, and the communication wasn't the same. But anyway, look, not a bad game in aspects, but again, we're hopefully that as we hit the finals, we're going to see what the teams are really all about now.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me. You see in this competition here in Darwin, you see different things that you probably wouldn't see in a lot of other places around Australia. But look, you still got guys having a crack and enjoying their rugby, and live to fight another day. There's always next week in rugby while the season's going, Billy.
Well, there we go. So next week we don't have a telecast. We actually got the Masters on, and then we have the major semi-final the following week, the knockout semi-final, then the grand final. On the grand final at this stage, and will be confirmed later on, we are looking at televising the women's competition, the B grade and the A grade. And with the B grade competition the way it's been, there's only a point difference in it between second and fifth to start today. Catherine really putting on a good showing this season, so it will be worth watching all 3 games when we do get the grand final.
Yeah.
So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Kit. Thank you, the NTRU. Thank you to sponsors, and thank you for everybody who's been online tonight and everybody who's taken part in this. It's been a great night, great ladies' night, and we'll see you again soon.